Boys and girls, I'm so excited. Welcome to another exciting career day. And today we have one of our favorites that has come with us for the last 8 career days. I'm so excited to have Bayer Science back with us. And today we have a chemist with us, Mr. Lopez. Mr. Lopez, welcome to Paramount's Virtual Career Day.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Well, I'm so excited to learn because you are really going to connect some information that's relevant to our world right now and relevant to what we see on the news all the time and what our students are seeing. So they're going to be really excited, especially when you talk about that PPE and what that means. So Mr. Lopez, go ahead and take it away.
All right, absolutely. I'm going to share my screen. All right, I think. Can you see the slideshow?
Yes, just hit present and you're good to go.
All right. All right, boys and girls, thank you very much for having me. And yeah, I'm glad to be here. I represent Bayer Crop Science, and we are here to talk to you a little bit about the sciences, the different types of jobs you can find here at Bayer. So Bayer, we generally focus in, our motto is science for a better life. We have 3 major divisions. One of the divisions, it is pharmaceutical. And as you can see on the screen, we make some of the Flintstone gummies, some of the maybe over-the-counter medicines that your parents have purchased. And that is one of the areas that we work in. Another area, it is like the next picture that showed up, the canine advantage. We make some products for animal health, and we try to help your pets have a better life as well. And then the last one is we have the crop science division, in which we try to get better, for example, as you see right there, better strawberries so that they live longer, so that they don't go bad as soon as normally other strawberries would go. So we try to improve the quality of your food as well. This is a picture of the site where I work. This is the Bayer site here in Kansas City, Missouri. It is located just north of the Little Blue River. And as you can see here, is a big site. We have over 500 employees. So as you can imagine, we have all type of people working here. We have scientists, we have engineers, we have people in the administrative roles. We have a lot of different jobs here, and we have a big site. As I said, the site here in Kansas City, we focus on the crop science of the Bayer world, and we try to produce better beans, better cotton, better type of peanuts, and all those things, better strawberries and all of that. So we make all these products to improve the different crops that farmers are working on to make sure that you have food on your table. As I mentioned as well, there's different jobs at Bayer. We have scientists, engineers, researchers, computer engineers. They help us with all of our IT problems. We have our managers, administrator, as well as agronomists, everything from in the lab as up to the point when it's at the farm, the product. So since I am in the scientist division, I wanted to specify on that. And as you can see, many jobs follow under the scientist title. But these are some of the major science divisions that we have here at Bayer. We have chemists like me that the chemistry is a branch of science that studies matter at an atomic or molecular scale. So we work on making different chemicals to improve life. As I said, we focus here on improving food. So that is the goal that we have. We have biologists as well, which I actually got a second degree in biology when I was in school as well. And it is also a division that we have in which we use small bacteria or microorganisms to improve types of of food, because not all microorganisms and bacteria are bad. Some are actually good, and some do make us sick, but we try to focus on the good ones and try to use them to improve the quality of your food. And we also have the physicists, which we have here some physicists that work on making sure that our equipment and our chromatographs and all of that are working in proper conditions. So that is how we work. And I have a little picture here of Larry, the lab lizard, which shows you kind of like the PPE that we use in our world. Because since we are working with chemicals, some of them can be concentrated. By the time they reach a farm, they are very, very dilute. But when we use them here on site, they are concentrated. So we want to protect ourselves. So we have goggles, as you see on the Larry the Lab, and I have some goggles here that I use for work. And we just put those over our eyes to protect them so that no chemical can come through the sides or through the front of our eyes, and that protects our eyes against anything that might want to affect us. We have lab coat is the next point right there, and I'm gonna try to get it in the camera. My lab coat is right here, and we put that over our body to make sure that we are protecting ourselves, our clothes are protected, and that way there's no chemicals going into our clothes, because we take our clothes home and we want to protect not only ourselves, but our family. So we make sure to have that protection as well. We have gloves, as you can see right there on the picture, and these are an example of a nitrile glove. We use it to protect our hands. That way our hands stay nice and safe. And then we also have, in the lab, we always use closed-toe shoe as well as long pants, because we don't want any of those chemicals touching our skin. So we want to protect ourselves and get everything better. And on the other side, the other little lizard, it is explaining to you what we use in case we have concentrated acids and bases. We use face shields to protect our face, and we use a rubber apron. And the butyl biotin gloves are a little bit thicker than your typical nitrile gloves. That prevents any chemical from being absorbed into your body. And I think I might have used the word PPE. What PPE is protective equipment, personal protective equipment, and that it is what we use to protect ourselves from what we're working with. Whether it might be if we're working in biology, we might be working with bacteria. We want to protect ourselves from that bacteria, and we want to have everything contained and everything where we want it. We don't want it getting out of control and being everywhere. So that is the protective equipment we use. And also, since we are in the middle of the pandemic, I wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of washing your hands. So as you can see, it is very important to wash your hands and protect yourself. You've probably heard it a lot on the news or on the social media, but it is very important washing your hands, because the viruses, most of the time, they cannot enter your body unless you give them a chance. And you give them a chance by taking them to your mouth or to your eyes or anything like that. So to prevent, when you're going to touch your face, to prevent taking that bacteria or viruses to your face, you want to wash your hands. And a great little way of washing your hands, you first get your hands wet, turn on the water and get them wet, and then you lather them with soap for at least 20 seconds. That way you are scrubbing your hands very, very well, which is the third step. And then you're going to clean every single, on top of your fingers, on the bottom of your fingers, on your fingernails. You want to get everything to make sure you're cleaning yourself well. And then you rinse with water. Once you have all that bacteria inside the soap, you want to get it out of you. So you rinse with water to get it out of your hands and into the drain. And then you just dry your hands with a clean towel so that you don't get more bacteria on yourself. So since we're in the middle of that, I wanted to touch base on that as well as the next step. How to cough. Well, when you're gonna cough, you don't wanna use your hands, because if you use your hands to cover your cough, you have the bacteria or virus in your hand, and then when you shake someone else's hand, you're giving it to them. or when you touch your remote control, you're leaving the bacteria there. So the preferred way to cover your cough is usually with your elbow. That way you're not sharing your elbow with everyone else. And or another way, which is the best way, is covering your nose with a tissue, and then that tissue can just go into the trash can. So I wanted to cover that with you guys, and I thank you for listening to me, and I welcome any questions.
There we go. Sorry about that. There we go. We're back. Um, so I wish that there was a way that we could do some question and answer and that we could have the kids here with us. Unfortunately, we're not able to do that, but I do have some basic questions that we always ask when we're going through. And so here's a couple of questions for you. So what schooling is required to perform your job? So what school did you have to go to?
Well, I went to the university and got a bachelor's degree. In order to work as a chemist, you need to get, now the great thing about science is that you can get a bachelor degree on any of the science. Let's say you get a bachelor degree in biology, physics, or chemistry. You can work as a chemist because you have the underlying knowledge for that is required for science. So it is a little bit relaxed on that, but you do need a bachelor's degree, which is a 4-year degree from your university.
Perfect. And what is your favorite part of your job?
Oh, my favorite part, it is knowing that through my work, I'm helping people have better food, better quality food, and that it can last longer. That way there's not a food shortage, because if there's a food shortage, then everyone's going to be struggling to get food. So that is my favorite part, having the knowledge that I am helping the world in a little bit as I can.
And then the last question that I have for you today is, what was your favorite subject in school?
I had a lot of favorite subjects. My most favorite was math. I always loved math, and that was ever since I was in elementary school. I enjoyed math, and it was my best subject. And then my second best was always biology and chemistry. So since math and sciences were kind of like my favorite classes, that's why I decided to go into something that was related to those classes.
Yeah, and that's such a great point, is that when we're in school and we're finding subjects we love, to be able to really focus in on like what career is that can lead to that. And I know that I personally have so many students in my class that love math and science. It might be because that's my favorite thing too. I don't know. I have my own Mrs. Frizzle coat with all the different things that we teach on there. So I really love seeing in the background your periodic table of the elements back there so that we can, yeah, that's wonderful. That's a great backdrop for virtual learning. And we don't necessarily get to that in elementary school, but it's once they get into middle school and high school, it's great to know that career path. Well, we really appreciate your time, because one of the great things, Bear Science has just really loved on our school for a long time. I think they've been to every single career day. We've done experiments with you per grade level, and it's so great that you guys are so close to our school. We have to kind of,
we're just on the other side of the river.
yeah, and it's crazy to think that that big, huge, massive place is really close to home. So boys and girls, if you're out there and you love math and science, and that's something that you are just really excited about, you could one day work at Bear and still live where you live. You could live really close because it's just right around the corner. Well, we thank you so much for joining us today, and thanks for being safe, and thanks for explaining PPE too, because I know that we hear that PPE all the time, but never really know what it is. And your personal protective equipment looks a little bit different than what we see the nurses, but you still have that face shield when you're dealing with those rough chemicals.
Yeah, well. when we're using acids, strong acids, we do use the face shield as well as the rubber apron on top of our lab coat. that gives us an extra layer of protection.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about right now, is trying to protect each and every person that's out there right now. So again, thanks so much for joining us on this virtual career day. Boys and girls, we'll see you next time on the next virtual career day.